A Prattville man is facing child pornography charges following a Monday morning raid by federal, state, and Prattville police. 26-year-old James Morgan was arrested Monday morning at a residence on Briarwood Street. Morgan is charged with 2 counts of possession of obscene matter and was placed in the Autauga Metro Jail. The U.S. Attorney's Office has not yet determined whether Morgan will face federal charges.
That's right, Rob. We're here live at Bentley's campaign headquarters at the Renaissance Hotel and Convention Center right here in downtown Montgomery, where we've just gotten word, I don't know if you've heard it yet, but Governor Bentley has secured 4 more years as Alabama's top elected official.
We are right in the middle of the inauguration events for Dr. Gwendolyn E. Boyd here at Alabama State University. We have with us today Ambassador Andrew Young. He's the keynote speaker.
You can barely hear me probably over the roar of the crowd that has funneled into the Renaissance here in downtown Montgomery. The atmosphere here is electric as several Bentley supporters celebrate the governor's successful re-election. Right now we're standing by waiting for Governor Bentley and First Lady Diane Bentley to walk through the door. They were scheduled to be here at 9, but we understand that will now take place at 8:30, so actually momentarily. As he wrapped up his re-election efforts yesterday, Bentley says Alabama's prognosis is much better since he's taken office. In his first term, the governor was adamant about creating jobs and lowering unemployment in the state. He was instrumental in bringing a number of economic ventures to the state, one of which is the Golden Dragon Copper Plant in Wilcox County that opened earlier this year. Bentley also captured Alabamians' praise for successfully navigating through natural disasters, such as the deadly tornado outbreak that tore through the state in April 2011. Now, critics of the newly reelected governor fault him for choosing not to expand Medicaid. On the other side of the coin, groups have been fighting him on this stance and on this issue for months, many trying to sway his decision on that. And, Rob, I'm quite sure that's going to be on voters' minds. And now that the election's over, they're likely going to renew that fight as Bentley begins his second term.
Alabama House Speaker Mike Hubbard and his legal team held a news conference today at the Auburn Hotel and Dixon Conference Center. Hubbard says the 23-count indictment returned against him as part of a political attack to derail the progress that the Republican Party has made in the state.
That's the reason this is happening, and it's all about putting a stop on the positive progress that we're making in the state of Alabama. And look at what we've done here in Lee County. We have the 3rd lowest unemployment rate in the state. We're one of the fastest growing areas of the state. We have some of the best schools in the state. Of course, Auburn University is absolutely one of the greatest, the finest research institutions in all of America. So we have things going very well in the state and in this county.
Governor Robert Bentley remains silent about the alleged ethics violations. He issued a statement saying the people of Alabama need and deserve the facts in this case. He refused to comment any further. The Central Alabama Veterans Healthcare System is under close scrutiny by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. Deputy Secretary for the VA, Sloan Gibson, cites many issues with the healthcare center, many of which stem from a lack of effective leadership.
Those would include a lack of trust among employees internally and between employees and staff. I would say failed labor management relations across the organization, an environment of secrecy and deception, a lack of accountability in the organization, weak internal and external communication, and then a general weakness in administration and governance across the organization.
CAVAS has improved the quality of care it provides for patients over the past several months, but Gibson maintains there's still substantial room for improvement.
We've got a lot of room to improve here. We have a lot of need to improve here. So what I expect to see is improved access to care, improved quality of care. I expect to see a more collaborative and collegial and constructive internal environment. I expect to see people working together. I expect to see people that are stepping up to be held accountable for their results.
The first of many sweeping changes at the facility will be shoring up the vast number of vacancies and putting the proper leadership in place.
248 vacancies right now. I mentioned 31 hires that started the 5th of October. 65 what they call certs or certifications, where the position description's been certified and they've identified qualified candidates to begin interviewing. We've got 46 that are in vetting right now. We're looking at credentials, looking at background, all that kind of stuff. And that's part of the work that the HR expert and the HR team that are going to parachute in here to help accelerate that process.
Secretary Gibson plans to return to Alabama before Thanksgiving to monitor progress at Cavas. Until then, he hopes veterans and the community will realize it takes time to fix a system that he says has been broken for quite some time. The shovels went into the ground, and just like that, Montgomery City officials broke ground on the new 3-acre sculpture garden that's coming to the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts. Montgomery Mayor Todd Strange says the addition of this new garden is just one more reason why the 25-year-old museum is a gem of the city.
We have a museum that really is for a bigger city, and we take great pride. This is the type of thing that really makes you an all-American city. It makes you proud of the opportunity for young people and old people and in between to come and be able to enjoy and to express themselves in the art and the cultural side of the equation. So it's very important. The people that are here today have been very helpful. They've given of their time, their effort, and their financial resources to make this come to a reality in honor of our 25th anniversary.
Initially, the garden will host annual temporary exhibits featuring works by contemporary artists throughout the country. But the museum's director, Mark Johnson, says the sky is the limit in terms of what he sees the garden becoming.
In the next few years, then, we will be beginning to acquire these large-scale pieces, large pieces that are 10, 12, 15 feet tall, which are not inexpensive, and finding donors to support us on that. And many years down the road, we will have our own collection, just like in this glass collection we're in right now. We started with a couple pieces and borrowed a bunch more. Now these are all ours. So it will take us some time to grow the collection, and we want to pick just the right things.
The price tag for the outdoor attraction is right around $3 million, and Johnson hopes to utilize a combination of efforts to fund the project.
Right now, this has kind of been quietly done behind the scenes, getting going on it. Now that we're, in the race, we will be contacting people, our membership, people who are friends of the museum, people who come to museum events. We'll be telling them this story and seeing if people want to get involved at any level. Any level is a helpful level for us.
The garden is expected to be completed and open to the public in early 2016. I'm Scottie Hunter for WVAS News. It was a much different time for Jack Crittenden in 1941. At 17 years old, he was drafted into a segregated United States Navy.
You didn't have no white co-worker. Everything white was either your superior or wasn't in the Navy. Everyone in the Navy at that time was first class or second class seaman. And I was the third company that graduated from Great Lakes, Illinois as a seaman. Everyone else graduated from Great Lakes, Illinois was cooks, bakers, or stewards.
He and other blacks in the Navy were tasked with loading ships with ammunition. Crittenden says they were never properly trained in handling the explosives.
The ships came in and you went down, and they had officers who knew how to load the ship, and they were training you how to load. So you became this kind of trainer who loaded the ammunition, or you became this kind of trainer who operated some of the machines that brought the ammunition off the deck to the bottom of the ship, and that's where you loaded it.
Crittenden says he will never forget July 17, 1944, the day he survived a massive explosion that killed so many and sank 2 United States vessels.
The explosion didn't leave nothing down on there where the explosion was, but a foot in a shoe or a head floating. That's all you could see. There was no ship left. Some of that ship fell 45 miles away in San Francisco and Oakland. That's how powerful it was.
He and several other black Navy men became a part of the largest mass mutiny trial in U.S. naval history.
The trial wasn't concerned about the people in the trial. It was concerned about the reputation of the Navy. It was already a fixed trial and a fixed this and a fixed that. It was just that kind of thing if you was like me. I knew all I'm being tried for I wasn't guilty of, but I wasn't thinking in that vein and nothing to that sort. So it was just something we had to do and go through as black seamen and as part of the Navy.
The cause of the explosion at Port Chicago was never determined. For more stories like these, visit our website at wvas.veteranscominghome.org. I'm Scottie Hunter for WVAS News.